Angel seals the sinner's fate.
End of the world, last bell rung, trumpet sound, the skies undone. Mark on the flesh, no place to hide. Revelation burns from the inside. Woe to the beast. Woe to the throne. Woe to the nations. The end is shown.
I'm trying to breathe, but the smoke fill the streets. Dreams turn cold, blood dripping off the sheets. Babylon burning, I can hear the kings cry. Money turn to ashes, can't buy a way to fly. Merchants in despair while the ocean spill red. And I'm facing my reflection with the voice in my head. Choose now, son, where you stand, where you lie. Cause the angel's in the air and the hour is nigh. And I feel that fear, but I channel it in rhyme. If I'm living in the end, I'ma warn them with my time. Street prophet in the nightmare, spitting the code. Eternal flame waiting when the final books close.
Hear the crowd, see the flame, every tongue.
Yes, sir, man. You already know what it is. We're back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds who just got the pound and are ready for the next round. So with that being said, that was a little taste of what's to come with the next music, with the next album that's going to drop. There's going to be a fucking banger, just like every album that we drop is a fucking banger. So with that being said, man, y'all can see the title of this episode, this live, whatever you want to call it. Andrew Tate's Emergency Meeting Part 2 Reaction. I said we're going to continue this today on Monday. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into it, man. Let's go ahead and get this shit pulled up real quick. I did drop a new album recently. Today, actually. It came out earlier today, this morning. Actually, more around like 12 o'clock at night. But tomorrow, probably, we'll do a listening party. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this pulled up real quick. Change this bullshit layout real quick. All right, here we go. All right, and 3, 2, 1. And remember, this is on Rumble, so there are going to be ads. There's nothing I can do about that.
And the stronger I am, and the more I convince you to become strong, and the more strong people I create, the more the weak people will hate me. You can't commit or do any action without creating the opposite force. That's the first thing. Second thing I want you to understand. The elites know this very well. So if you understand this to be a universal truth and you're in charge of the world today, you have to be very careful what you make people love because of the inverse effects. So let me ask you a question. If I was the president of a country, surely it would make sense for me to make people love the country, right? That makes sense. I'm the president and I want you to love your country. But if you love your country, there's another equal and opposite force. You'll defend your country. You won't allow immigrants in. You won't allow us to inflate the currency. You won't allow us to rape the coffers and steal from the bank. You won't allow us to get rid of the military and sink it. You won't allow us to become a laughingstock. If my intention is to steal as much as possible, it's very important that you don't love your country, because now you're in the way. So even something as simple as I'm the leader of England, I want you to feel English and love England, is a problem for the elites. That's why you can't fly a flag. You're not allowed to be proud of your own nation because of the equal and opposite force that will create.
Very interesting that he used that country analysis right there, because that immediately just kind of brought me back to the past 3 elections. You know, we elected Trump in 2016 because the American people love the country and they want to see this country go back to thriving the way it was supposed to be thriving. And then Biden, technically against Obama, he was probably whispering shit in his ear and what to say and do. Got back in 2020 because they fucking cheated. And then we brought Trump back in again. So, yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, because it's like the people are standing in the way of these bullshit do-nothing politicians from doing what they want to do, which is steal, kill, destroy, and profit off the backs of the common American people. And people did not want that no more, so they got their shit together and got Trump back in office.
Which they will then demonize. If you're patriotic, they demonize it as evil. It's not evil. Patriotism is love for a country. But by loving your country, you automatically put it above all other countries. That's how it works. So if I'm a world elite, I don't want people to love their country. Okay, what about their race? Why wouldn't you want people to love their race, right? You're born brown, white, whatever. You should love that. You should be proud of that. Well, no, because now you're going to come to odds with the other people who look different to you. And I want you all in one big dishomogeneous soup so I can steal as much money as possible. Everybody understands multiculturalism's primary objective is to turn the first world into the third world so they can rule you the way they rule the third world, by force. First world, it's very difficult for even leaders to convince the police to chop your head off in the street. Third world is doable. That's why they're trying to turn us into the third world. It's very simple. So they don't want you to love your race. What about your city? Surely, I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor and I want you to love your city. Well, if you love your city, you're going to start complaining about all those stupid statues they put up. You're going to start complaining that they build all the buildings ugly. You're going to start understanding that they're trying to make you fall out of love with your city on purpose. Because if you love it, you will defend it. And they don't want you to defend it because they're there to plunder and steal. So if I understand as a world elite that you must love something because you're human, but I don't want you to love your nationality. I don't want you to love your country. I don't want you to love your religion. I don't want you to love your history. I don't want you to love anything that's going to create an inverse, which is going to become a problem to me. What do I convince you to love instead? What is the one thing I can convince you to love instead? That
I bet he's going to say yourself. I bet he's going to say yourself. Because think about all these stupid ass Me Too movement fucking fat asses that were out here just all this other bullshit, the LGBT and all this other dumb shit. I bet you he's going to say yourself.
won't become a problem for me. And I'll tell you what the answer is.
I knew it. I knew it. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. Stupid ass fucking ass, bro.
Yourself. We live in a world of endless individualism. When they convince you to love yourself, yes, you can excel as an individual. Yes, you might get rich. But once you're rich, are you going to help your community? No. Are you going to help your race? No. Are you going to help the other men who get falsely accused like I do? No. You're not going to help anybody. You might help a couple family members. At most. It's a very small rebellion. In the second Matrix, the architect tells Neo, we had to give a way out for the people who were a little bit too smart. Otherwise, the system would break down. That is the truth. The reason I am rich, the reason the system allowed me to get rich is because if I was still poor, like you fucking idiots, knowing what I know about the world, I'd be dying on the fucking street trying to cause a rebellion. And they know that. So instead they said, let this man have money and yachts and women and Yescos and Paganis and Bugattis and houses and private jets. And give him everything so he fucking goes away. Placate this warrior. That's why I'm rich. Because they knew if they kept me trapped, I'd bring the whole fucking system down. They knew that. Because I ain't scared of them, and I'm not scared of fucking dying. You broke people have no problem living in slavery because you don't love freedom enough.
Damn, that's 100% facts, bro. That's crazy. That was, I ain't gonna lie, that was kind of intense right there, all that, bro. I mean, I never thought about it like that, why some people are allowed to be, not really allowed, but are more so kind of given opportunities as such. Think about like Nick Fuentes and all that. And Alex Jones and all these other, I guess, freedom fighters or whatever. They would cause absolute chaos and just straight up devastation inside the system if they didn't have the freedom to do what they want to do. It's facts. That's how everybody has to be, bro.
The system, the world we're in, convinces you to love yourself above everything else because the common average man only has power as a collective. If you love anything other than yourself, you're a threat to them. But if you love yourself, at most, you'll escape. And that's only the competent ones. The rest of you who are not competent enough to escape, do you know what happens when you love yourself? You check out of the game. I love myself. This system's rigged. This country's shit. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care about the system. I don't care. I'm just going to play video games.
Man. It's crazy because all the shit that he's saying right now, I know people who are like that. in real life. I've met people, I've been around people like that. They just say fuck this shit and they just start smoking and drinking and just living an extremely degenerate life, not doing anything to make their life better or those around them, their lives better. Nothing. It's crazy, bro.
Look at the women of the world today. Hi, you're 25 years old, you need children. And you're white, and we need white babies. White people are going extinct. I don't care. I like Instagram. I'm a diva. I'm a star. You're a fucking idiot. You've achieved nothing in your life. Get over yourself. Where's this arrogance from? It's remarkable. It's disgusting, truthfully. It's treasonous. They don't give a fuck. Women are the ultimate weapon of selfishness. So if you understand that the masculine imperative is naturally to die for something bigger than yourself and think of ideas bigger than yourself. It is men who built society. It is men who think about society. It is men who protect society. Men do all of these things. Women only care about themselves. There's an evolutionary reason for this. It's very simple. They had to keep themselves alive to reproduce. Men have encouraged female selfishness since the dawn of human time, so they'd do anything it took to stay alive, so the babies would stay alive, so our clans would be able to reproduce into the future. Female selfishness is hard-coded. But if you're, once again, the ruling elites, and the only thing you're trying to do is promote love of self, well then surely you're going to give power to the most selfish creatures on the planet, called women. You want to love yourself? Feminism. Females. I have never heard a woman say, I don't want to do this, but I should do it for my country. I don't want to do this, but I should do it for my community. I don't want to do this, but I should do it for my religion. I don't want to do this, but I should do this for my town. Never once. Ever. Women think, I don't want to, I don't care. Women worship themselves. And as the man becomes more feminized, the primary objective is endless self-worship. Because the counter to that, the opposite, means you dislike everyone else. Remember, if you love your country, you dislike other countries. If you love yourself, you dislike other people. And your only weapon as a common man is collectivism. If 3% of a country riots, that's a revolution. 3% is the magic number. That's it. How do they stop 3% of people getting on the streets as your country falls apart around you, as all of your currency inflates, as crime gets out of control, as you're invaded, as you're lied to, as public services collapse, as your kids are no longer safe, as traffic's bad, as you're endlessly taxed? How do they stop a small percentage of the country rebelling? Very simple. They're all too busy loving themselves, so they don't like anyone else. And this is why religions and people say love is the answer. Love is the answer if you love the right thing.
They're too busy loving themselves, and the reason why they won't go out and fight for their country, they won't fight for their community, their towns, their cities, or whatever the case may be, their states and all that, is because they love themselves. They love themselves to the point where they would rather run away a coward and live another day than to stand up for something and die for it. And you know what's crazy? All these same people who love themselves so much, they're going to be the ones that probably get sent to hell. Because what did Jesus say? He said, to follow me, you must deny yourself and pick up your cross. People who love themselves will not deny themselves. People who love themselves will not pick up the cross. People who love themselves will not die for their faith. They wouldn't die for God. Crazy. People that love themselves will take the mark of the beast so they can continue living comfortably while that comfort lasts. Think about it like that. People that love themselves are so easily lulled into bullshit because they think they have to follow these stupid ass rules or laws or whatever so that they can remain living comfortably, because people love themselves the most when they're living comfortably. And so they keep them asleep. They keep them lulled. That's crazy.
This is exceptionally important for you to understand. This self-love is the only answer that doesn't create an opposite force of evil that the elites are afraid of. That is why they don't want you to love your country. And that is why they take the flags down. That's why they don't want you to love your history. And they change all the colors of everyone. And they lie about what happened. That's why they don't want you to love your city. And they build every single building ugly. That's why they don't want you to love your wife. And they convince her that having a big mouth and being rude is how to be a woman. So that you don't even respect her anymore. You look her in the eyes and you don't like her. They are trying to take away everything from you. So the only thing you have left to love is yourself. Because they can accept that. That's what they can accept. This framework is extremely important. You can apply it to nearly any problem in the world today. Let's apply it to powerful people.
Should President Trump remove Pride Month and replace it with Veterans Month? We believe the people who spend risking...
Get out of here.
Becoming a powerful person in the world is hard. It's stressful. It's dangerous. You might get assassinated. You might die, right? It's very dangerous and very harrowing an experience to become a powerful person in the world today. So it's certainly not easy to do. So why would you do something which is difficult? You must what? You must love power. You must love the power. If you're a powerful person, you love being powerful. You love it. And if you love it, of course you're going to have a problem with anyone who threatens your power in any regard. Your primary objective is to consolidate power. I'm powerful, and the inverse to that is I don't like anyone else with any other kind of power. So if Andrew Tate talks on the internet and inspires people, he has to go to jail. If anybody is trying to rally behind a flag, a race, a religion, a culture, an identity, a town, they need to go to jail. This is my world. I have the power. Only me. That's what I love. The only people who become powerful are psychopaths who love it. And their primary objective, once in power, is to get as much of it as possible all of the time. That is why we are being invaded by immigrants. Think about it. There's a whole bunch of theories out there. How they're trying to replace all the white people.
And when you love power so much, you're willing to do whatever it takes to keep it. Including some very inhumane things. Some very evil things. I mean, think about these celebrities who love fame so much. They was willing to get fucked in their ass by another grown man. Because they love fame so much, they was willing to do whatever it took. They loved being on the screen so much, they was willing to do whatever it took. So they dropped them pants and got fucked in the ass. They was willing to do whatever it took because they loved it so much. It's crazy, bro.
How we're going to live in this technocratic feudalistic system, how we're just incompetent and stupid, how we cause all the wars and they have to run away, blah, blah. Let me make it simple. They want more power. And if they bring more and more people in who don't think like you, they reduce the chances of you allying with them against them. They make you only care about yourself more and more. You don't care about your community. And also, you have people coming into the country who are prepared to accept third world dictatorship because that's what they come from. And their intention is to get as much power as possible, which is why they want to turn the Western world into a third world dictatorship where they can chop your head off on the street. That's what they want to do. It's all very simple. Another reason, no matter who you vote for, you can't seem to stop these fucking waves of immigrants. Another reason is because powerful people love power. What do rich people love?
Money.
We would all argue that becoming rich is difficult, no? So if you're going to do something difficult, you must love it. So rich people love money.
Yeah.
Rich people love money. Now, you poor people may not understand money. But if you're rich like me, you understand the majority of your money is in real estate, stocks. It's not in liquid cash. How do I make real estate go up? Well, I create a housing crisis. How do I create a housing crisis? Well, I invite in 1 million immigrants. 50,000 rich ones buy all the houses. 950,000 who are broke start working brokey jobs, reducing everyone's wages in the entire area. Now no one can afford a house. Houses are going up through the roof. There's no supply. I'm getting rich. How do I increase stock prices? Well, we increase GDP. What's GDP? A made-up fucking number. GDP's bullshit. How do we increase GDP? We bring in a whole bunch of slaves who do a whole bunch of bullshit slave jobs so we can say the GDP's gone up, so the stock price has gone up. Because I love money more than I love anything else. What's the evil repercussion? What's the opposite force to me loving money? My society crumbles. The place I grew up changes forever. My children wouldn't be safe if they didn't get to live in such a nice house. But I don't care because I love money. Am I a bad person? Well, not to the other capitalists. I'm not a bad person. I'm a good person. I love money, but I have a factory, and I hire 10,000 immigrants, and I'm giving them a better life, and I'm paying them a good wage. That's 10,000 families I feed. I'm a good person.
But your people, your society is suffering while you do such things. So you can sit around and pretend like you're a good person and all this, that, and third, but you are really the lowest piece of shit ever. Because you turn your back on your own people for immigrants who are willing to work for a lower wage. Look at your boy Gavin Newsom. All those fucking immigrants that he let in there. Crazy, bro. Joe Biden leaving the border open like that for so fucking long. It's crazy. That's what he was trying to do.
The person who doesn't work in the factory, who lives in that town, says, yeah, but those immigrants have all come to this town now. The town doesn't look the same anymore. My kids aren't safe at night. Can't walk the street. You're a bad person. You can't do one or the other without creating the inverse. Love and evil, love and hate, like, dislike, they're the same thing. This is why, at the height of my popularity, I wasn't trying to make people like me. I was trying to make them dislike me, because it made everyone love me. That's what most don't and can't understand. So you need to understand this basic premise and understand that they are trying very hard to splinter you from any kind of affinity. And that is why they attack me, because of my school. Because I give you a place where it doesn't matter what country you're from, what color you are, what religion you have, if you're rich or poor, you can have 200,000 men who think like you. And they don't want that, because 200,000 men is an army. They're scared. They don't want you to join the war room with 5,000 people globally meeting in places from Croatia, Dubai, Thailand. They don't want you meeting. They don't want you to have brotherhood. They don't want anything to threaten their power structure. You know, I have children with a few different women. And I've heard in time women have said to me, why did you have kids with all those other girls? That's evil. I just love my family. I love Tate. I love the last name. I love my genetics. I love my ancestors. You think I'm evil for loving my ancestors? I love my ancestry more than I love you. Who are you? You're new. You're 2 years old. They've been here for thousands of years. I owe them more than I owe you. If you can't get over the fact I have some kids, then what the fuck you doing here? Because you ain't going to stop me. Because I love my ancestry. And if you truly loved me, you'd love my ancestry. And you'd understand you need more Andrew Tates. So what are you complaining about? Too busy loving yourself. Can't think outside of yourself. You can't think, well, this is inconvenient for me, but maybe it's good for the big wide world. Andrew Tate's a hero. We need more heroes. Women can't do that. Women can't think outside of themselves. So we're going to apply in some upcoming emergency meetings this very basic philosophical framework of love and evil. We're going to apply it to different scenarios. We're going to try and understand what the world leaders are trying to garner. Are they trying to make you love them? Are they trying to make you hate them? Because by doing certain things, they're automatically creating the inverse and how you should operate. Because yes, to a degree, you have to love yourself. Absolutely. But then once you make it, you have to help other people as best you can. And they have to be worthy of the help. And most people aren't, because they're so individualized. If I lend someone $10 million and then ask for it back, I'm the bad guy. That's what they've done to the world. Got one super chat here I'm going to read out. Hi, Andrew. I'm a student of the real world, and I've been trying to focus on my work. My friends often try and encourage me into vices, drinking, etc. Should I stop trying to hang out with these friends? Well, your friends don't want you to do better than them, clearly. What are your friends doing? Are your friends rich and powerful?
Not a damn thing. I bet you they're just a bunch of nobodies who graduated high school recently and just think that they're the shit now because they're 21 years old, going to clubs and bars and all this other dumb shit, smoking and drinking and acting a fool.
Successful, or are they losers? Maybe they feel threatened by you. They feel threatened by the success you're going to make. My father had a quote, you allow manipulation to find out where your enemy wants you to go, then you use your mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. You don't have to stop talking to them. You can just stop listening to them. You can be their friend and just not let them distract you from things. If you fall for their tricks, you deserve it. Right? People want you to do well, but not better than them. Ever. We could apply that very small scenario to this, but I like to apply it to macro events more. The rich love getting rich, and they're going to do anything it takes to keep getting richer. Unfortunately, the powerful people and the rich people are in the same group. The money is the power. So what do the rich people want? The rich people want more money, more power. And they want that above anything else. And they're prepared to sacrifice anything else to get it, including you, including your family, including your little dreams and aspirations. They don't give a shit. They don't care. And they're trying to endlessly splinter to keep us worshiping ourselves. And the true heart of evil and darkness that exists in the world today is going to take a large orchestrated group. And the primary way to make a large orchestrated group, all born in different places, perhaps all have different histories, different backgrounds, different versions of childhood, how to make them all love each other is to make them universally hated. Purposefully. There's a lot going on that you're not thinking about. You need to make a conscious decision. Think and analyze inside yourself. What do you love? What don't you love? What do you hate and why? Because this allows you to understand yourself at a deeper level. And I'll tell you something. Finding people worth working with, worth being friends with, is difficult. And that's why my mission from the beginning has been to filter out from the chaff people worthwhile, and they exist inside of the real world in the war room. So if you're not a selfish idiot who is obsessed with only himself, if you understand the power of masculine brotherhood, if you understand it was 300 Spartans who stood against evil, it's not about numbers, it's about resolve and will, then I'll see you inside of the war room soon.
Square business episode. Man, I would love to see that stream that he was talking about. Applying that structure to different events and whatnot going around the world with like world leaders and whatnot, what they're doing and trying to understand what they want to achieve, what they want people to do. That would be very interesting. That sounds very interesting to do. So, yeah, man, Andrew Tate always be speaking facts. You can't, as a grown-ass real man, you cannot sit there and listen to him speak and hate on him. I don't understand how people figure out in their minds, oh man, he's this, he's that. Where the fuck is the proof? You know what I'm saying? Where the fuck is the proof? It's nowhere to be seen because it doesn't exist. A lot of people just get on the hate train just to hate because they want something to hate other than themselves. Because they understand that their life is shit. It's crazy, man. But with that being said, appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your members, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. And I'm out.
Feels the sinner's face.
End of the world, last bell rung, trumpet sound, the sky's undone. Mark on the flesh, no place to hide. Revelation burns from the inside. Woke to the beast, woke to the throne, woke to the nations. The end is shown.
I'm trying to breathe, but the smoke fill the streets. Dreams turn cold, blood dripping off the sheets. Babylon burning, I can hear the kings cry. Money turn to ashes, can't buy a way to fly. Merchants in despair while the ocean spill red. And I'm facing my reflection with the voice in my head. Choose now, son, where you stand, where you lie. Cause the angel's in the air and the hour is nigh. And I feel that fear, but I channel it in rhyme. If I'm living in the end, I'ma warn them with my time. Street prophet in the nightmare, spitting the code. Eternal flame waiting when the final books close.
Hear the cry, see the flame.